and I'm an engagement manager at ACCA Russia. My warmest greetings to everybody who is here. We have an extremely interesting speakers today. Alexandra Khmeleva, FCCA, Financial Director and leader of ACCA CFO Women Club. Irina Laskova, FCCA Executive Director and ACCA mentor and member of ACCA panel. And I'd like to introduce a special guest, Paula Kensington. If you have any questions, if you have any questions, please ask them in our chat. And Ivan Topolia with us today, and Ivan is our moderator today. Ivan, I'm passing it all to you.
Yeah, sure, Tatiana, thank you. I'm happy to greet everyone who gathered today for this particular event. This is the third event in the chain of the Way of Somebody events. We already had an event which we named the Way of the Methodologist. Yesterday we had an interesting event related to how to be in internal control and to build an internal control system. And this event is special, I guess, for us tonight. Well, it's a third in a row. Then it's an international event because we are having a great guest today, Paula Kensington. And the last point which I want to mention, and Tatiana already mentioned it, it's somehow related to Alexandra Khmeleva's title as a Women CFO club leader. And I hope she will announce the establishment or re-establishment of this club tonight or today. It depends on where do you come from, whether it's Australia or New Zealand or Russia. So I wish everybody to have an interesting event, to have most fun, and to gather all the knowledge and all the insights our speakers will bring to the board. So please ask questions, be very attentive, stay tuned, and have the most interesting event at the closing of this year. Thank you.
Okay, so hello everybody. I will begin to tell my story, to share my insights, and also to share my way to CFO. So I'm really glad to participate in this event, and I also glad that Paula can join today our and also share her experience and her knowledge and also her insights. So what I would like to share with you, I would like to tell you about my 5 insights, which I catch during my experience. And of course, it's not only 5. And to be honest, it was really difficult to single out only 5, yeah, but I tried to choose the most important one. So from first, I would like to introduce myself. Currently, I am a Chief Operating Officer in FX Group company. It's a consulting company. I'm also a mentor in ACCA mentoring program. I have 2 mentees, and I'm also a member of ACCA member panel in Russia. And I'm also a leader of ACCA Russia community group in Facebook. So if you still don't join this group, please join. It's really interesting content. There is an interesting content layer. So this is who I am today, and I would like to share my way. So I began in KPMG company, and I worked about 8 years in KPMG, and I really have grown in this company from A1 to the position. And I had 2 double promotions from A1 to A3 and from S2 to manager. And it's really a great experience for me. It's until now the best practice how the company should work and how the processes should be organized in the company. So I'm really proud that I had such experience. After that, I moved to Vietnam, and I worked in Vietnam for 4 years. And it was also the great experience for me because I tried to work in 2 companies. First, it's Qatar, Vietnam. It's one of the biggest production company in Vietnam, and I was CFO there. And after I worked 2 years there, I have changed the position and I have changed the company to Sense Asia, and I became CEO there, and it was startup, and they still work. The company still works, and the main achievement of this company then was our product in Russian stores, Russian premier stores, Azbuka Vkusa. So it's really a great experience, and it was fantastic team there. So I also really happy to have Vietnam in my life. After that, I decided to return to Russia, and first I worked in FX Group as a senior consultant, and after that I was appointed as Chief Operating Officer in this company, and I'm still on this role, and I'm happy and fully enjoy this way. So what my way can show for you, that there is a possibility to grow inside the company, and there is a possibility to grow within other different companies. So a lot of possibilities around. And what about insights? Let's return to my insights. That first and the mainest one, it's like when we think about success people, and then we think about people who really achieve great results, we mostly think that the way is really very simple, because they have support from friends, from parents, I don't know, from partners, yeah, and the way it's really strict. But to be honest, the way it's not really straightforward, and the way to success or way to some point where you are now, it's really very complicated and not so straight. So you should be ready for this, and you should just enjoy this. So first insight, to which I came in, it's be responsible for your life, and it's simple. From on the other hand, it's like simple to be responsible for your life, but on the another hand, it's really difficult to really understand that only you responsible for your life. And then I came to this position, and then I really feel that only me responsible for my life. My life changed significantly. So what I mean here, I mean that nobody guilty for your way, not your parents, not your child, not your husband or wife. So nobody guilty for your way. Only you are responsible for your life, and your life is only your project, and only you can make your life, not other people. Then you are doing something, you should understand why you are doing this, not just do without any sense. And the mainest one, it's you always should be thankful and grateful. And it's also sound really simple, but if you feel always thankful and grateful for any experience, it really makes you a very strong person. So this is my first insight. The second insight, that you should be really true practitioner. So what it means that you can read a lot of books, you can participate in a lot of trainings, webinars, but if you cannot implement this experience to your life, to your work, this knowledge, it doesn't matter. And I really like to share with you one story. And then the person came to trainer and asked, so trainer, please help me. I don't know how to pull up, so I never can do this. So how I should pull up? How I can learn to pull up? And trainer just looked at him and said, okay, you just need to begin to pull up, and that's all. So let's prepare action plan after you read the books, after you may participated in trainings. You prepare action plan, just go and do and try, yeah. And after that, I usually follow up action plans because some things don't work in my life, and it's also okay. You just choose what really work in your life, and just work for new habits in your life. So it's really easier to easy plan to implement your knowledge in life. So the third insight, it's be confident in choices. Before, maybe 5 years ago, it was really difficult for me to come to any decision. So I try to think about advantages, about disadvantages, and I always think that like I really now need to make final choice. So I just really need to choose a very crucial thing in my life. But then I understand that it is a life and it is a process, and you can make a lot of mistakes, but it's not mistakes, it's your points to grow. So then I understand this. It moved me forward significantly. So I understood that there are no mistakes, it's only points for everything is experience, even positive or negative, everything is experience. And you know, I changed my my perspective, how I choose something. So I not really make choice, I just test available options, and it also works good because it's like you can test and things cannot work for you, so you just throw it away. And the main, what I understand here, that there is not only one, there is not only one way for you in the life. There are different ways and different moments for this way. So you just need to go and not to keep in mind that only one way is really available for you. The fourth insight, it's be patient and enjoy your journey. It's like came from the third my insight, that if you will not keep in mind that you just want to be a CFO, for example, or you just want to be a director, if you just put it somewhere, just I don't know, somewhere in your book or in your notes, and just will enjoy your journey and all the processes which happens in your life, yeah, you will become more stronger. And the process, and if you enjoy the process, it's really make you much more stronger. What else? If you enjoy the journey, and if you think about current moment, you accept that there is no limits. So, and the idea that you just want to be a CFO, it's like limit in your head. And if you will concentrate on the process, you can see maybe some other goals, maybe more high goals. Yeah, just don't be concentrate on the one idea. Also, you will see how many fantastic people around, and every day I say thanks for the God and for my life, because there are really a lot of people, fantastic people around me now now and in the past. And so when you concentrate on the process and then you enjoy the process, people just come to you, and it's fantastic. Also, broad view on your life. So not only keep in mind that you want to be a CFO, just a lot of stories, a lot of pictures, a lot of processes around. So you really broad view on your life. You have broad view on your life. And the mainest one, that you will feel that every impossible thing can become possible. So what else? There another insight, be above expectations. But to be honest, it's not insight, it's my approach to life. And it's important to mention here that I don't try to be the best, I just always try to do my best. And it's significant differences between these two phrases. But if I will return to my 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I always try to do my best, always. And I always maybe to do a little bit more than people expected from me. And I think this is the main reason why I'm here now. Because such reputation that people trusted me, and they trust because they can give me something, and I always do this, and do in a great quality, and I really do my best. So, and another approach here, that do things right from the beginning. So it's also sounds simple, but I often meet in my life people who just think, okay, now I can do something like this, and then in future I will return to this and do better. So my approach is just now do things right, just not to return to these things in the future. And all this will work for sure. It works for me. And my example shows that it really works for me, and I hope maybe you will find something interesting for you, and it also will work for you. And then the last one, what I would like to share, is like a bonus insight from me, that there is no secret ingredient, and it's just you. It's only about who you are and who you want to be. And if you want to be special, you are a really special person. And it's like the main point. Yeah, just believe in yourself, believe that you are special, and you will have energy to move and to grow and continue to on your way to CFO, or maybe somewhere else, if you will feel that it's not your main goal in respect of work. And okay, I've finished about my insights, and can I ask you some questions? What do you think? How can you write in chat 3 strengths which you think that you have? So 3 strong areas which you have now. Can you share in chat? So I would like to ask you to write 3 strengths now in respect of you, and could you share with these 3 strong points in the chat? So no one want to share?
Maybe Alina, whilst we're waiting, there's a question here that maybe I'll ask you, and it says, how do you reconcile the 2 principles about how do you do things right from the beginning versus there are no mistakes, and that all mistakes are learning, are experience? I think it's a good question.
Yeah, I think it's a good question, and maybe I couldn't just explain correctly what I mean. Then I say right things. Yeah, right things. It means that if there is a procedure, yeah, like for example, you need to do this this process. For example, reconcile, then you just need to check, then you just need to follow up the differences, or you need to make it in a right format, yeah, or like make visual presenting of the figures you have. So you really need to do it now. It's not about it's not about to make right choice. It's about to, if you know how to do it now, you should do it now, not to postpone, and not to do it somehow now. But about mistakes, it's a little bit different point of view. It's like you can make a lot of mistakes, and it's just experience for you. But if you know how to do now, you just need to do it now, right now, not to postpone in the future.
Yeah, yeah. So there's some good ones coming through here from the audience, and thank you for participating. It always feels a bit lonely when we're just talking at a blank screen, but I know you're all out there, and thank you for coming back. I think communication I see here, persistence is a good one. Empathy, I think, is a really good strength to pull out, as well as health as well. That's really been a 2020 theme, I think, as we've all been impacted so differently by the whole global pandemic. Something that you spoke about here, Irina, was the ability to learn. And I think that lifelong learning, continuous learning, always being curious. Someone else, Victoria, is talking about delegation and good communication. Someone here, Liana, is talking about treating people differently based on personality. It's not one size fits all. So that really goes to the strength in leadership and being a conscious leader. Responsible and accountable and fair and honest. So I think there's some good things there. I don't know if you want to pick up anything before we hand over to Alexandra's Way.
Just would like to thank everybody that who share with us their strong areas here, and it's really great. Hope you can make them more stronger, and it will give you opportunity to grow. So I just thank you, Paula, for helping.
You're welcome. There's another question that I'm going to ask later on in the session about how you moved to Vietnam, but I think I'll move on just to keep us in good timing. Thank you for your insights there, Irina. I might ask Alexandra to talk to us about her way to CFO.
Hello, everyone. Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Irina. It was very interesting experience and a very inspiring speech from you. Thank you very much. Sorry, a lot of messages in the chat. So my speech, my presentation will be about superpowers of CFO. I name it 1+5. Superpowers of CFO, and let's go. If we move to next slide. On the next slide, I would like to first introduce myself. I will start to do it. So I'm already 18 years in finance, and I started my career in PwC in consulting. Then I was on different positions in Swedbank and Cityland Bank, and I was responsible for international business strategy development in the biggest Russian bank, Sberbank. And now I am Chief Financial Officer and board member in Bank Renault Nissan. It is a bank belonging to alliance of car makers Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi. I cover all areas of responsibility of usual financial department. As for education, I have 3 main educations, and it took me 10 years to receive them. So the first one is the High School of Economics, one of the best economical universities in Russia. Then ACCA, of course, thanks to this association, we are all here together today. And I'm a graduate from MBA of Warwick Business School, UK. As for my projects I'm doing now, the first one, as already Ivan presented earlier, we give the second birth of ACCA CFO Women Club. It took place 2 months ago when we talked with Tatiana Gulina and decided that this is a good time to revise this club, and I'm a leader. We already almost finalized the program of events in this club for 2021, and there will be a lot of interesting activities next year, so please join. You will receive everything, all announcement in your mailboxes. As usual, Tatiana submit every month to everyone. And my next project is a community. I set up a community of women in finance, first via Telegram channel. So please subscribe Women in Finance in Telegram. And this is a community of active, very successful women, not only in finance. And we share our successful stories and not successful stories to learn lessons. We share our life hacks. We share information about interesting events, conferences, and so on. So, and I just started the same in Instagram. So this is all about me. I would like to share with you. Let's move to the superpowers of CFO. I visualize it as a hand. In the middle is the basic competences, it's core competences. It's a big one, and for CFO, it's the core one, but it's not enough to be a powerful CFO, successful CFO. There is as well 5 another areas: yourself, team, colleagues, partners, and networking. And let's deep dive into each of these parts. The first one is the core competences. And I choose a movie, Ford versus Ferrari, as a symbol of core competences. If you remember, it's 2 fans of Matt Damon and Christian Bale, real fans of their activities. They don't sleep, they try, they learn, they experience, they have constant learning. And this is a core and biggest competence of CFO. And Irina as well confirm that this is one of main area of responsibility which you should lead. So you should permanently educate yourself. You should not cover only by CFO function, because you can start with bookkeeping, then you need to learn modeling, controlling, budgeting, planning, treasury, accounting, tax, and so on and so on. It's like a big snowball, which grow when you become more and more powerful CFO. And you should not limit yourself only by your pure function areas. You should look around and learn everything around yourself. If you are interested in something, some area, maybe it's all painting, go try, and you will learn something to do better in your own area of responsibility. If we move to the next one.
I have tried, but maybe some difficulties
Yes,
in
yes,
internet.
it is here
Sorry.
already.
Yeah,
Thank
sorry.
you, Nina. So the next one is yourself, and I choose a movie Queen's Gambit, which is the best, I think, to demonstrate how self-confidence and strategic view can work in the life of CFO. I think if you saw this movie, it's about a genius lady, young lady, chess player, who beat a lot of men and won a lot of chess games. And the strategic view, when you must calculate 2 or 3 steps forward, is really important for CFO. You should think not only about next step. It's not enough at all. You should think 2-3 steps forward. And very important, you should read and understand how your counterparty thinks to predict their steps. You should be self-confident about things you are doing and how you are doing, because a lot of counterparty thinks about different things, and you should be really strong to prove that you are right, or we should do this or this in a certain situations. And of course, stress resistance. There is a lot of powers outside, and CFO should be stress resistant and think about what you must do today, now, without looking around if something is wrong. For example, in March, when all this pandemic situation in Russia became real, I did, so of course CEO didn't ask, but the first thing I wanted to make, and what I did, I made 3 stress test scenarios of our bank's behavior. Because I decided it's really important just now. Maybe this stress test scenario was not very accurate. It was done very quickly, quick and dirty, sometimes I say. But it was just in time to show the CEO the magnitude of what's coming, what can come to our bank, what can come to our economy, and how the bank will behave in this situation. So be stress resistant. If we move to the next one, it is about building strong, motivated team. It is another superpower of CFO. Here is one of my favorite, Ocean's 11, the movie about how you merge different people with different backgrounds, and you encourage them about one idea. This is a superpower. You should find people which are stronger than you in certain areas, because they are more stronger, they are more experienced, they are more expert, and you should trust, delegate and trust in certain areas. You should not cover all areas of responsibility and be guru of everything. You should trust for those who are more experienced, more expert in areas. And you usually need to have plan B, because when team is here, team is okay, something can be wrong. And something is usually can be something wrong. You should be have plan B or plan C to support if something will go wrong. And really important is communication. In my department, when I came, I developed a communication strategy of financial department. And believe me, this is really, really important to support team, to encourage team, to motivate team, and increase engagement and enablement in the team. When you share, for example, what I do once per month, I have all financial department members meeting, where I cascade all events which I received from the board level member to my department. I share all I know and what I can share with them about what is happening in the bank, goals. I share what I'm doing, and then we have round table when everyone in the team share his achievement and problems, questions which he would like to share with everyone, or to ask questions or help. So communication is really important. And now we move to the funniest one. So the third one is colleagues. And I choose Suicide Squad as a symbol of colleagues. By colleagues, I mean my C-suite colleagues in the bank. And the superpower of CFO is to sell ideas. Because colleagues, you understand, this is chief of different areas in the bank. They have their own agenda. They have their own background. They have their own strong characters, sometimes extremely strong characters. They have their own KPIs, and this influence how they behave and their goal, what they are doing. The superpower of CFO is to sell the ideas or your needs with these different people who by chance are all together in one company. So, and of course, communication help with this. You should speak simple language without our financial slang. You should speak normal Russian or English to that colleagues which are not deep experts in this area can understand what is happening and why you came to them. And of course, negotiation is another area you should cover to prove for them what you are doing and why you are doing. If we move to next one, it is about partners. By partners, I mean everyone outside your organization. It could be, for myself, for example, it is shareholders, because I manage a bank with 3 different shareholders. Different, I mean even nationalities and industries are different. I have a French captive bank. I have as a shareholder Universal, biggest Italian bank, and Japanese car maker. So they have different agenda, totally different, not totally, let's say it, different goals and different backgrounds. Then as partners, it could be government bodies, it could be Central Bank of Russia, as I am CFO in the bank, it could be investors, and of course it is business partners of the bank. So the superpower of CFO is to manage all these different expectations. And how you do it? You build trust. You build trust from shareholders and from partners. I didn't mention that I am pretty sure you know this movie. It's 4 Rooms of Quentin Tarantino, about a bellboy who tried to manage expectations of crazy guests of the hotel. And the last one is point is very important. It's business etiquette. If you are not very familiar, please buy any book about business or state etiquette. Read it, and you will find a lot of things interesting in it. This will make your life easier, believe me. If we move to the last one, the fifth, it is networking. I didn't find movie. If you know a good movie for networking, please email me. It will be great if you do it. But I like this picture and this analog of networking and brain. It is neural connections, because when you use your brain actively, new neural connections are creating and they become stronger. The same is with networking. When you use your networking, it becomes stronger and more powerful and will help you in a different situation, difficult and not difficult as well. So I wish you to develop, maintain, and care about your network. Thank you very much, colleagues. Here is my contact details and my Telegram channel. Please subscribe. And now I give floor to Paula Kensington.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Alexandra, and thank you to Irina as well for sharing so much about your journey. I'm hopefully that the audience find it totally inspiring and give you lots of ideas for how they navigate their journey. So let me give you a bit of background quickly about who I am. So Paula Kensington, originally from the UK, now living in Sydney, Australia, and I've been here for 13 years. I decided during my career to have a year out of my career in my mid-30s. So I had my gap year later than everyone else seems to have their gap years in their 20s, but I had mine in my 30s and traveled the world, which was an incredible experience for me. But I found myself in Australia and I loved it. I came here on my own independence. I wasn't sponsored. I didn't have any partner that was here. I totally came on my own. And ACCA was my ticket here because as an English-speaking accountant, I was able to get the points that Australia government required for migration. And even though I was older than their 35-year limit, I still got in. So that was an awesome experience for me. And that was really where I cut my teeth in a CFO role. So I spent a large part of my journey, I think about my career. I've had a career of 30 years and hopefully you'll look at me and think, gosh, how did that happen? Because she doesn't look like she's 50, but I am. And my career has really been around 3 decades of different experience. The first 10 years is really about learning, getting my ACCA qualification and really sort of absorbing everything as much as I can, like a sponge absorbs the water. I just try and learn and learn and learn and try and navigate my way into a senior finance role, because I started as an accounts payable clerk in England in the early 1990s, and I was writing checks. So if anyone can remember those days when we didn't even have computers, I've absolutely grown my career to become an award-winning CFO. So my first 10 years was really about absorbing knowledge. My second 10 years was really then about leveraging who I am, getting clear about what I want to achieve, and really sort of trying to position myself in the businesses that I was able to then start thinking about a potential CFO role. And it wasn't until my third decade that I actually then achieved a CFO role, which again, it's never an easy pathway. And as soon as you think, oh, it'll be easy when I get to CFO, let me tell you, there's just a whole bunch of new challenges ahead that you probably hadn't even thought about. So Now I'm also one of your global council members on ACCA's Global Council. I just stood for election this year. Thank you to anyone here that voted for me. I'm now in my third year term, and I've got great aspirations to hopefully join the officer team at some stage in my career. But that is something that I do totally voluntarily in my spare time. And I would really encourage all of our listeners today to think about, what can I do outside of my job that's actually going to get myself positioning so that I can be the CFO, or I can be the CEO or the COO. You've got to think bigger than just your day-to-day job as well. And hopefully we'll touch on that in some of the question time that's coming up. So that's a very short 3-minute background to me. Happy for people to find me on LinkedIn, connect with me. I've created a new initiative, well, actually it's 2 years old now, but it's called CFO Conversations, and it's on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Please follow me. There's over 65 videos there about the challenges of being a finance professional. If you want to get some face-to-face learning and mentoring, there's lots of videos that are free to watch. So I would love for you to subscribe as well. Hopefully I should get Irina and Alexander to come and speak on that as well. So that would be awesome in 2021. As it comes as no surprise, personal brand is a real passion of mine. And what I'm going to do now for the next half an hour or 40 minutes is to ask some questions of our guest speakers today, because it's really where, you know, that sort of deeper insights come from. Yes, we've heard lots of really great insights already, but let's sort of drill down on some examples so that the ladies can really help you to think about these 4 key areas. So the first one is personal brand, which is really important. Lots of people in finance, lots of people in careers haven't thought about this enough, and I can't encourage you enough to think about what is your personal brand. People are finding you before you even enter the room. So if you don't have a strong personal brand, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you're definitely missing out. And this is going to become even more important as we live in a digital world. We live in a world where people are, it's a very small world. And so what you're doing as a digital footprint is as important as what you're doing as a physical footprint. So we'll touch on personal brand in a minute. Then we'll think about networking and how to build those professional relationships. Both Irina and Alexandra were talking about the impact of networking and making sure you surround yourself with good people. That's really important. Thirdly, we'll think about impact and influence. Again, have you thought about the impact that you're making? Have you thought about the influence that you have over your team, your peers, people outside of the finance, within the business? Have you thought more widely within some of the groups like Alexandra was talking about for the women here, women in finance, getting involved in aspects outside of your day job is really important, and we'll see so much growth, almost more growth than you get in your day job, trust me. And then lastly, thinking about positioning. So this is where we're thinking about how do we show up in our market, in our organization, in the industry, in our country, and how do we think about that globally? So sorry, that was very fast. So hopefully you all can catch up with me. And thank you for listening in my country's language and not yours. And I apologize that I don't speak any Russian. So personal brand, it's such a vital area for finance professionals. And we should be thinking about it. We should be investing time. We should be running parallel with our day job, thinking about our brand. And this is physical brand and digital brand. It's taken me probably about 8 years to build a strong international personal brand. Now, it's not going to take you guys 8 years because there's a lot faster and people have kind of got up to speed, but it's still going to take you probably between 3 and 5 years of actually building a strong personal brand. And what I say to people is build it before you need it. Don't wait for you to then get made redundant, look for a new job, and you think, oh, I haven't got a personal brand. Build it now before you need it. So I'm going to take my first question to Irina, and I'll start with you. What does personal brand mean to you? And how should our audience be thinking about their brand from an internal perspective and from an external perspective?
Okay, what about personal brand? To be honest, 10 years ago or maybe 15 years ago, when I just began in finance area, I didn't think about exactly personal brand. Yeah, I just thought that I need to build a good reputation about me. I just need to communicate with different people, to get different connections with different people, and now it's called like personal brand, and I think it's really essential for not only for finance people but for everybody who want to move on and to grow, to build a personal brand. And as you said, it's not just 1 or 2 years work. It's really for this process you need more time and more strategic approach, and it begins from your picture on Facebook, for example, and how you appear on events, how you appear at your work, how you communicate with all people, not just with your colleagues, with your friends, but the people who you met on also business events. So it's really important, different parts and different components of personal brand, but for sure you need it. For sure you need to begin it now, and it will take not it will work in the future. It's really essential.
Yeah, thank you. And Alexandra, you touched on this in your 5 insights around building a strong brand. What do you think some of the challenges, some of the biggest challenges that you've had in building your brand?
Paula, you are right. What I presented, the 5 superpowers of CFO, can be treated as a personal brand as well, because personal brand is how you communicate with people around you. I think that one of challenges is time. Because personal brand, it's not a sprint. You cannot build it in 1 month. As you say, for you, it took years and years. So it is a marathon, and you should be ready that it's a long way and long work.
Yeah.
Second, yes, you agree with me.
Yeah.
The second challenge, I think, is the personal brand is to realize that your core competences, for us it is finance, is not everything and it's not all that you need. I can give my short story. As I worked for Renault Group, a couple of years ago, I participated in a mentoring session with one of top manager of Renault Group globally. And we had a very nice conversation. He gave me interesting ideas to think about. But the most important, he said, is Alexandra, you should minimize your pure professional growth. So you are already has a very good level of professional, so it's already like this, your curve. You should minimize growing professionally, and you should focus to developing 2 areas of top manager success. I never shared this before, and for the first time I will share with our audience and with you. He highlighted 2 things to care about. The first one is communication, and the second one is networking. So personal brand is all about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a question here in the chat about why should I spend time on my digital brand if nobody's reading my posts on LinkedIn, I'm assuming, and I get that. It's a real challenge. I mean, there's a couple of answers that I would offer you here on this one. And, I think sometimes it's actually, it's called the rule of 10, 10, 10. You've got to say something 10 times in 10 different ways, and 10% of your audience will actually hear your message. So if I've got 5,000 followers, you know, I might get only 10% of those 5,000 actually viewing my blog that has taken me 4 hours to write and 3 weeks to think about. But I'm only getting eyeballs of, you know, 300, 400 views on my blog. But, you know, it's all like you have to be consistent. It's not like exactly like Alexandra says, it's not a sprint. It's absolutely a marathon. And, you know, it's taken me 5 to 8 years of building a brand and a message and being consistent, because the problem is if you stop doing anything, then nobody has eyeballs on you. So it's almost like, is my message resonating with my audience? Am I saying something of interest? So being a little bit more reflective about why are people not commenting or not reading it? Is it not something that my audience is really interested in? Or if you think that your message is really interesting, then get what I call accelerators. Ask 5 people that you know to comment on your article. And you know, and then it becomes like a snowball. I think, Alexandra, again, you were talking about a snowball. You've got to create momentum. But one thing I would say is consistency. Don't stop. All right, I'm going to move on because we have only got just over half an hour and I want to talk about other things as well. But please keep questions coming in because I'm really happy to pick them up and try and answer them as we go. So networking and building professional relationships. Again, it's really about going further together. Like, you don't have to travel on our own. You know, we should be thinking about how do we build relationships with stakeholders, as Alexandra said, but also, you know, when we think about relationships, you know, think about a personal relationship that you might have. You know, it's a two-way street. It's a give and a take. There has to be a value exchange. It can't just be, I want you to mentor me and I want this and I want that. There has to be something that you're able to give in exchange for that mentorship. So think about the two-way street. Alexandra, what are some of the strategies that you've really created along the way? And maybe you can share some examples of how you've managed to build really strong and varied relationships.
I can share a couple of examples. The first one will be how I was appointed to one of my previous jobs. So one of my ex-boss was appointed to a really interesting and high-level position in a good place. I read about this in a newspaper. We worked together several years ago, and when both left the company, we were keeping in touch for some topics. We consulted each other. And when I read about his appointment in a newspaper, I just emailed him or SMS all my sincere congratulations, because the job was really exciting, interesting. And he answered. He proposed to meet and to discuss opportunities in his new department. And we met. I went through a long hiring process, made a lot of tests, and finally received a job about which I even cannot dream. This is how things happen. When you leave a company, keep in touch with your bosses. Yeah. The world is really small, and this can appear when you do not expect at all.
Yeah, and so, I think having no expectations, I think is really important when you're reaching out and offering those sincere congratulations. You weren't expecting anything in return, but look what came out of that.
It's true. Yes, don't expect anything, and you will receive everything.
Yeah.
And another example I can tell is really simple. Be kind with personal assistants. Mm-hmm. They have a superpower, and this superpower can save your life. So be kind, and they have very close connections with their boss, and sometimes they will find you a good slot for the meeting. Sometimes they will sign off your papers which are burning. This is really a tip.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really great examples, Alexandra.
Yeah. So Irina, think about some people in the audience. I get asked this a lot. I'm very shy. I don't want to have a big brand, or I don't want to go out networking. I'm very private individual. What tips have you got to how people can get over their nerves or feelings of that imposter syndrome of maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm too worried about someone saying no when I reach out?
I think feel shy and feel to want to be private. It's like a general feeling, and it relates to all of us, that in some moments of our lives we want to be private, and we somehow shy and somehow want to be not in the community. Yes, but I think if you want to grow and if you want to move on your career, you should learn how to communicate. You should find different options, how you can learn, how you can try, and it's really important to communicate and to build. Коллеги, у кого-то включен микрофон, выключите, пожалуйста. Okay.
Right.
So it's really important, and it's not easier because before I was really shy person, and it was difficult to begin any discussion and even to ask any question. I just was really closed person. But step by step, small steps, and now I just completely different person. But it's not like only 1, 2, or 3 steps which I did. I did a lot of steps, and even now, even today, it's really important and big step for me, because I still feel nervous, and it's like not like I begin to talk and I feel very good and I feel very free about this. So it's really natural, and you just need to do small steps.
Yeah.
Every month, and just go from your comfort zone and be ready for challenges. It's really interesting challenges.
Yeah.
And can I share just one my personal example about network? Because now today I'm a member of ACCA member panel, and I just want to share how I came to this, because before I even cannot imagine that I could be a member of our ACCA member panel. And then I just visited the conference Digital CFO in September, and I just asked how I can be the member, and I just received general instructions. So I should send my CV and some why I want to be. But after that, I just participated in. I decided to participate in ethic marathon. So Ivan just asked who wants, and I say, okay, I want. It's interesting for me, and I just helped in organization of ethics marathon with another ACCA members, and it was really great for me to show what I can. And after that, I was chosen as a member, and I'm extremely happy about it. And it's a good example how work is working. So just be open for any new things. And like Alexandra said, just don't expect anything, and you will get everything.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you, ladies. And I think I'll just add my key insight to everything that you were both saying. I often say to people when they say, oh, I don't want to ask this person if he or she will connect with me or mentor me or give me some of their insights. I say to people, what's the worst thing that can happen by you asking that question?
Yeah.
The worst thing is someone says no, and they're unlikely to. They might say, I haven't got time. And if they don't offer something else, then go back to them and say, I totally understand that. You must be so busy in this role. So you have to kind of almost, we call it stroking the ego. You have to kind of, say that, obviously I understand you're busy. Could you maybe think of someone else that you could refer me to? So we haven't got any other questions. Oh, we've got a question here on where do we get our energy from to accept all these extra challenges? I think I'm going to just answer that by saying I think it really ties in with our purpose. Again, 2020 has been a real trigger event for people to say, what is it that you want to achieve over your career, over your professional life, but also in life as well. And I think Irina was talking about being in charge of your own life. And I think, if you have a vision of being a CFO, being a great leader, you just create the energy because it doesn't feel like a challenge. It doesn't feel like work because it's actually driving you towards your inner purpose and, fulfillment. And I think for me, I actually get lots of energy from doing things like this. I was saying to the ladies this morning, I was talking to ladies in London. So I've been up since 4:30 a.m. my time, and it's now coming up just past 8 p.m. So what's that? I've been up now for 14 hours, and hosting this great event, but I don't feel tired. I feel energized by it. Okay. There's another question here. Tell us about your work-life balance. Irina, do you want to talk about work-life balance? What does that mean to you?
It's a great question for me because I know the answer on this. Then anybody ask me about work and life balance, I always ask what work is for you and what life is for you, because my work, it's my life. So it's like, it's really mixed things for me. I cannot separate work and I cannot separate life. So I really enjoy what I'm doing at work and I really enjoy what I'm doing in life. So for me, it's like no separation at all. I just enjoy every day, enjoy that I have possibility to work, to impact, to accept all changes and to communicate with different people. And from other side, it's part of my life. It's crucial part of my life. I have 2 nice children, and I also invested a lot of time to my children, but like I never separate all these things for me.
Yeah, again, I think it talks to the holistic view of purpose in life. Alexandra, do you want to add anything to that work-life balance question?
Yes, of course. So I can share experience of French company. So currently my boss is a French guy, and we in top management we have French guys as well. And French people, they are perfectly good in work-life balance. So overtime is not a favorite thing in our bank. So I learned and manage my work hours from 9 to 6 in the office. But my calendar is all colored. All my employees, all my colleagues I work with, they usually see that my calendar is colored by multiple colors, which means different internal, external meetings. When I work, only me, I'm working about a certain topic. And from 9 to 6, I work really, really hard without breaks. I have 20 minutes for lunch, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And at 6, when we all worked in the office, I close my laptop and I go home.
Yeah.
that's it, to collect my energy for the next active day.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that talks to boundaries. I don't know if you say the same in Russia, but I think you have to be really clear about what your acceptable times, what you're accepting of, and what you're not going to negotiate with. And like you, when I had my corporate career, when I left the office, that was it. Unless the CEO texted me, I wasn't answering any emails. I worked hard enough in the office. When I leave, that's my personal time. So I think getting clear about boundaries really helps, and what are your non-negotiables.
And this is corporate culture. This is really important. When corporate culture is another one, when everyone stays till 10 p.m. in the office, it's really hard to behave like this. Yeah. But then this is supported from the top. It's easier.
Yeah, 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 definitely. And I think it's also about just being curious as to why everyone's doing that. I mean, there's certain points in our careers where we had to do that because we had to gain that trust and prove ourselves. But it's not everlasting. We don't have enough adrenaline to be always working around the clock. It just won't last, and then we become sick, and then we're not good for anybody. So I think again 2020 has really shown us that importance of making sure our boundaries are strong.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move on, and I think I'm going to move on to impact and influence, which kind of closely knits together with positioning as well. So when I think about my impact and my influence, I'm talking about how do we set ourselves up for success? Do we think about what is the impact that I actually have currently on the immediate audience? So for us, for example, the three of us today are having an impact on the audience. Is that a good impact? I hope so. But we're starting to think about, what do you need as an audience? So when you think about your role, think about, and Alexandra mentioned this really quite in depth, and talk about your audience. It's not what you want to say in the way that you want to say it. It's what you might want to say, but you need to deliver that in the way that the audience is ready to hear it. Back to that 10-10-10 rule. If you're only getting 10% buy-in, imagine you've got a meeting of 10 people. There's only one person that's actually heard your message, because you've got to say it more than one time. You've got to say it in different ways. So think about the impact that you're having in your finance team. What impact are you having on your CFO? What impact do you have on other business leaders? What do they think about you? What are they saying about you when you're not in the room? How do you want them? What do you want them to be thinking about when they're out having other conversations? And this really ties back in closely with your personal brand. But I talk to people about what sets you apart. Okay, great, we're all accountants here, but why should I care about you? What makes you different to the sea of other faces that are all accountants? So you've got to get really clear about your values, about your mission statement, about what really lights you up. What are you passionate about in your role? Do you love storytelling? Do you love helping non-finance people understand the numbers? Do you love delivering insights? Whatever it is, you've got to get clear about what is your value and what is your brand. So, Irina, let me come to you. How should our audience be thinking and taking that wider view? I mean, should they be interested in this or not?
I think for sure they should be interested, and for sure I should be consider what is interesting for them. Yeah, I have a lot of examples when, for example, when we organized meetings, and personally me come to the meeting with my point of view. So my point of view, like here, for example, yeah, and I have my team who have different who have different points of view. And the mistake was that I began to talk from my perspective, but then I choose the approach, and first I try to think on the situation from their side. It was really important to understand, because you have your own picture, and different people have different pictures in their heads, and you just should be consider these different pictures. If you consider, you can do really strong impact on the meetings or something like this. And if for example network is about quantity for me, yeah, impact is about quality for me. So you should think about your quality, how you understand what you want to deliver, what message you want to deliver, and in what form your message will be listened and so that's all I think from in respect of impact.
Yeah, thanks, Irina. Alexandra, let me come to you. What do you think the challenges for finance professionals, you know, if they're feeling a bit stuck in their career? Have you got any advice maybe for how people could be thinking about impact and influence? Maybe some people in the audience feel like they're not able to have the impact.
Well, for financial professionals, when you are already in a good position, you like your company, just enjoy your life. You can make focus on your hobbies, your family, sports, kids, everything. But if you would like to do something more, there is a lot of opportunity. For example, professional organization, social organization. We are here in ACCA. This year, ACCA revised different streams which are led by members. For example, Ivan Topolia, who started our today event, he is a leader of accounting and finance network. Irina Dymova, she leads leadership network. Myself, ACCA CFO Women Club. Irina Laskova, she just said that after September digital CFO event, she came and asked what can I do to help, and started to lead Facebook, right, Irina? You said
yes. Yes.
So there is a lot of opportunities, and ACCA provide. Please join us. There is a lot of things to do, and one, as we say in Russian, one hand is good, two is better. So
there are a lot of opportunities around. You just need to be open for them, not be close.
Yeah, and driving your career, like I say to people, don't outsource your success to others. You know, you're responsible for your career. You need to make opportunities happen, and it can absolutely make them happen. Sometimes you have to just look a bit harder, or think about, you know, sort of having a look around you and just taking a bit more of a bigger picture. Sometimes we get so caught up in our little bubble of you know, our role or our business, we forget to take a look outside. So thank you for that, for both of you in country, for those in Russia. But, you know, my CFO conversations, for example, you can follow, you can comment, you can, you know, leave messages. People will, you know, it will drive conversation. So I think that's important. So just finally, we've got just about 10 minutes left. I'm just going to ask the audience to have a think about this and to put into the chat box, you know, having heard now from the three of us around what it takes to get to CFO, you know, do you think that you're charged now with sufficient inspiration and knowledge to become a CFO if you're not already, or do you think it's impossible? What are some of the blockers, but do you think that you're able to have a clarity on the pathway? I'd love you to just to put in the chat box what your thoughts are before we wrap up. So finally, ladies, I'd like to talk about positioning, and both of you have had international, or the three of us have had international exposure. But I think for you guys, it's probably even stronger because you've moved, both of you, to countries where English isn't necessarily the first language either. And so, maybe start with you, Irina, because we could potentially answer the question that we had earlier in the evening around, or in the day, my evening, the question we had around how did you move to Vietnam? Like, what was the opportunity? Do you want to talk about that positioning for you in terms of obviously moving country?
Yeah, I can share because it was a really great experience, and it was fully out of my comfort zone, and by the experience which I got in this country in respect of business experience and personal experience, it's really fantastic, and I feel really excited to have such experience in my life. And the question was how I moved and if the company paid for my relocation. The company paid all expenses which was related to my relocation, so it was even not discussed. It was proposed in the beginning. And how I found this job, my first job I found through my friend. We studied with her in the university, so she was in my group, and she is Vietnamese. Mm-hmm. And after she returned to Vietnam, and after I already worked 8 years in KPMG, she invited me in her company to become CFO. But the second like it was a really interesting case. I just met the owners of the company on the beach, and we just talked on the beach, just how are you, what are you doing in Vietnam, and so on. So I have children, they also have children, and our children began to play together, and we just talking, and after that they said, okay, I have a great product, but I don't know how to sell. I just need a person who will manage my company, my team, and we began to sell. And so it's like not only about friend, but it's also like some case on the beach where I met these owners, and they are really great. They both designers and with real strong business intuition, and I don't know what I will do now without such experience with them, because it's really a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience I passed through with them, and really happy to have such experience in my life.
Yeah. Again, it goes back to that question that I asked, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? So, I would absolutely encourage everybody to think about opportunities in country and out of country. The three of us have all worked in different countries, and the ACCA is a great passport to be able to facilitate that. Alexander, let me come to you. Have you got some insights on moving countries, or any examples that we can share with the audience?
Yes, of course. When I worked for PwC Moscow, as my first foreign language is French, I once had an idea that it could be nice to work in Paris. Mm-hmm. I wrote to one of partners that so if there is any opportunity, it could be very good if I can have a secondment in France. Mm-hmm. And it was beginning of 20th. So the communication among countries in consulting was very active. So a lot of people went to Australia, New Zealand, USA, UK, everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so in 6 months, he came back to me and said, oh, I met a nice French partner. They are ready for your secondment. So I worked in Paris office for I don't know 8 months, and this experience was really unusual for me. It was surprisingly unusual because I understood that Moscow office was far away from France. We already worked in systems, we documented all audits electronically, and when I came for the first time for the bank audit in Paris, I saw big boxes of folders. So in 28 or 27, I don't remember, when I was in France, my French colleagues still continue to audit companies by hand.
Yeah.
So it was a really big surprise for me that they are living in 19th century in comparison to Russia.
Yeah.
But in general, to build my international network and to work with within international company globally, it was a really good experience for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I just have one question here in the chat box saying around my question, why is it impossible to get a CFO role? And so this person here says, I think it's impossible because other people my age are already a CFO, so it feels like it's too late for me. Well, my immediate response is it's never too late. I wanted to share with you one thing that I thought about earlier this evening, I think, and it's this: if you want to improve, then you have to make a start. And I think if you want to become CFO, you have to then think about what's the gap between where you are today and where you need to be, and whether that's 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. Age in our lifetime now, with diversity being front and center, age really shouldn't be a barrier anymore. And actually, a lot of people are really thinking and encouraging mature talent. So never think that age is a barrier. And I think, you know, it's just getting clear about what are the gaps that I might have in my resume or in my brand or in my executive conversations, my executive presence. Am I having big enough conversations? You know, you need to do your own SWOT analysis on your own skill set. I would really encourage anybody can achieve anything they want if they want it badly enough. Ladies, what do you think?
I think that it's like about my insight to be responsible for your life. Yeah, you can say that you will never be CFO just because I have not appropriate age now, but it's like maybe reason, and there are some I don't know, something you're really afraid. So it's not about age, it's about maybe responsibility. So maybe you will not have you think that you will not have any free time for your life or something like this. So just be responsible, and as you said, just go and do. Just go and try to be. Do your best on this way.
Yeah, yeah. Alexandra, what do you think to that? I'm too old to be the CFO.
I think that you usually think that you are either too old or too young. Yeah. When I became the CFO, I thought that I was too young, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
So please don't think anything about age. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Maybe it's like
What about age?
Yeah. Do you know the story of Goldilocks, the fairy tale?
No.
No? So Goldilocks says that she went to this house and she couldn't sleep. There was 3 beds and one was too big and one was too small and the third one was just right. Yeah. So if there's any other questions, please type away, put them into the chat box. We have got 1 or 2 minutes before we have to wrap up finally. It's been such a wonderful conversation, ladies. I really hope that the audience that are here today and those that are going to listen that weren't able to attend, they're going to get some real juicy insights, some real practical steps on how to think about becoming the CFO, or if you are CFO, how do you think about next steps as well? So I really would just love to thank you all for coming and for participating, and for making this such a wonderful event. And I'm hoping it's not going to be the last of these events. I really want to get, as I said before, these ladies onto my CFO Conversations channel. I thank you all for listening in my mother language and not your own, and thank you for your understanding and patience. And thank you very much to Irina and Alexandra for sharing such personal stories. I hope you've had a good time.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you all very much.
I really enjoyed. Thank you for managing all our event, and it was really a wonderful experience. And I will join your event with great pleasure. So just feel free to invite me.
I will. I wish you all a beautiful rest of the day, and a wonderful Christmas. I hope you stay safe to everybody, that you're able to have some rest and some recharge, and best wishes for a new and prosperous new year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paula. We are very happy to see you today.
We have really
thank you, Irina. Thank you, Alexandra.
Yeah, we have really positive comments in our chat. So, ladies, we made it.
We made it.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.
Yeah, bye for now.
Bye-bye.